Today we're going to do a, a traditional flow class, and it should all be patterns that you know and are familiar with. And hopefully that means that it'll be comfortable. Because I feel like this is a major time of upheaval right now, at least for me. I don't know, maybe it's not for you. Maybe it's keep on keeping on. But for me, it's pretty stressful. So relying on something that we know, like, is can be comforting. As we do this, it's going to be up to you to modify using the tools that you know, hopefully by this time, are supportive for you. So right now here, I don't have any blocks. I guess I have a chair. I don't have a wall. I'm going to just do traditional flow. But if you want to do it for your knees or take a break or go into child's pose or whatever, obviously please modify and adapt to make it right for you. And I'll just say cues and you do what's right for you, right? That being said, challenge yourself as opposed to, being too comfortable is there isn't any growth, but overwhelmed, there's no growth either. You want to be in that little bit of a challenge zone. So let's think about that. Morning, Leor.
Morning.
And I'm going to pin myself. Yeah. And, here we are. I'm going to move this out of the way. And hopefully you can still hear me okay. The earbuds. Okay. Decent. Hi, everybody. So we're gonna just do the little joint warm up because again, something familiar that we all know. But first, sit in a comfortable position for you. If you want something underneath your hips, or be in a chair, or to sit on your heels, find something where you can be upright with everything stacked, so your ribs over your hips, your shoulders not forward, in line with your ribs, your ears over your shoulders and not forward. And then thinking about that puppet string pulling you tall. And then let's just settle in to this space. Trying to be tall, sitting tall-ish. Dignified position is sometimes a good description. And then let's just check in with all of our senses. So what sounds do you hear close by? And what sounds do you hear further away? What smells are around you? Maybe find something pleasant to look at in your space or beyond. We'll close your eyes. And then for touch, think about where you've chosen to put your hands. Maybe notice the temperature of your body, the temperature of your room, places where you might be cold or warm. Notice all the points of contact between you and whatever you're sitting on. Now we're going to start to move. So let's start with shoulder rolls. Both directions. And then let's do neck. So nods first. So chin towards your chest, chin towards the ceiling. If you add breath, it's usually exhale as you look down. And inhale as you look up. And then when you finish that set, come to neutral and let's do a side bend. Bring your ear towards your shoulder. And let's be here for a couple breaths. I'm gonna let someone in. And just breathe into that neck area. Because I know we store a lot. Maybe you slept weird. A lot of stress is held there. And then maybe try looking down and seeing how that shifts the neck muscles. And then look up and see how that shifts with stretch. And then come back up to vertical and switch sides and be prepared to breathe here a little bit. Maybe breathe into your neck area if that's possible for you. And looking down and shifting what part of your neck is stretched. And looking up. And then your head back up to vertical. And let's do the twist. So look over one shoulder, the neutral, and look over the other shoulder. And then anything else that you feel like your head needs to do this morning, maybe circles or an infinity sign, whatever feels good for you this morning. And then let's do our thoracic spine. So shoulders forward, shoulders back. I'm really focusing on your rib cage, extension, both directions. And then let's shift down to your lower spine, your lumbar spine, belly crunch, stick your butt out. And welcome to keep the rhythm with your breath. And then come to neutral, tall spine again, puppet string, making sure everything is stacked. And then we'll do a side bend. So one hand up, reach up, and then bend over. A couple breaths here. Maybe focusing on getting air in between each of your ribs and air into your waist area. Your next inhale, come on up. Be ready to switch. Inhale, reach. Exhale, bend. And then a couple breaths here. Rib cage spine. Waist area. And come on out and washing machine. And then let's do a static twist. So one hand on knee, one hand behind you. Inhale, tall. Exhale, look behind you. Release when you're ready and then switch sides. Inhale, tall. Exhale, twist. Release when it feels good. Fingers. Wrists, both directions. Elbows, shoulders and chest. Swim forward. Backstroke. And breaststroke. And then toes. So for toes, all you have to do is lift your toes and scrunch them. You can get space in between each of your toes, like really spread them wide, and then crunch them small. Usually one foot is better than the other. That's it. And then rock back and forth on your feet, balls of your feet heels. And then ankle, both directions. Other ankle, both directions. Bend and straighten the knee, and the other knee. And then windshield wiper your knees, so flop them back and forth. And then sit up again, and my favorite bit, big circle. And switch direction. And then come back to neutral. And just notice any sensations in your body, the quality of your breath. Maybe check in with all of your senses again. The taste in your mouth. And then we're going to come to standing and do a sun salutation. So get into your mountain. Hopefully my head's not chopped off too much. A little bit over here, okay. Make sure everything's stacked. Make sure your feet are parallel to each other, pointed forward. Puppet string still pulling you tall. Everything's stacked as opposed to flared either direction. Notice your connection with the ground. Maybe lift your toes and put them down again. You're going to go slow, but on your next inhale, arms up. Exhale, fold forward. And let your head dangle. We'll do a couple of breaths here before we make one breath, one movement. You're welcome to have a generous bend in your knees. Let your head dangle, maybe shake it out. Come into half forward fold and then on down to the mat, onto your belly. And cobra, couple breaths here again. You can see whatever cobra makes sense to you. Notice the quality of your breath as you're arching back like this. And then tuck your toes and come either into puppy or downward facing dog. So basically puppy is down on your knees or up onto your toes or onto your blocks if you have them, or your chair. And shift your weight from left to right. And have that long spine, trying to tip the smile of your butt up towards the sky. And then either walk your hands to your feet or your feet to your hands. And again, half forward fold, stand up, arms up, mountain. We're gonna do it again. I'm gonna tuck in. One breath, one movement, and then we're gonna add on to the other sun salutation. So inhale, arms up. Exhale, fold forward. Inhale, fast forward fold. Exhale, come on down, plank, shift forward, lower down. Inhale, cobra. Exhale, down dog. We'll hold this down dog for a couple breaths. Or if you want to, come on down into puppy or child's pose even. And then either feet to hands or hands to feet for half forward fold. And then inhale, exhale, forward fold. Inhale, stand up, arms up. Exhale, mountain. And I'm going to let someone in. Maybe. It's not letting. Oh. Okay, phew. Weird. Okay. Sorry about that. So let's try the moon salutation, sometimes called, or another variety of the sun salutation. That's the one with the lunge here. So check in with your mountain. Inhale, arms up. Exhale, fold forward. Inhale, pass forward fold. Exhale, come on down. Inhale, cobra. Exhale, down dog. And then come onto your knees and bring your right leg forward for low lunge. We'll hold this lunge for a second, just to really start to get into those hip flexors. And then knee down again, down dog for a breath. And then come on down again onto your knee. Left foot forward, low lunge. Go ahead and hands down again through tabletop to down dog. Hold this one for a couple breaths. And then feet to hands or hands to feet for half forward fold, stand up, arms up, and mountain. Okay. We're gonna do that again, one breath, one movement, see how it goes instead of holding it. Inhale, arms up. Exhale, fold forward. Inhale, half forward fold. Exhale, come on down. Inhale, cobra. Exhale, down dog. Inhale, come into your lunge. Exhale, down dog. Inhale, lunge the other side. Exhale, down dog. Hold this down dog. Keep breathing. And then half inhale, half forward fold. Exhale, forward fold. Inhale, stand up, arms up. Exhale, mountain. Adding on what's familiar, and we know, right? Hopefully you know how to adapt it for your body as well. Pull this back a little bit. Okay, sun salutation 2. Those are the ones with warrior 1. Adapt it as you is right for you and your body. Starting at the back or the front, doesn't matter. First thing, check in with your mountain. Next thing, on your next inhale, chair. Let's hold this chair for a second. First chair. Second, can you see all your toes? Then exhale, forward fold. Inhale, half forward fold. Exhale, plank, shift forward, lower down. Inhale, cobra. Exhale, downward facing dog. Inhale, right leg to the sky. Exhale, swing it forward as far as it'll go, or whatever that looks like for you. Drop the back foot. Inhale, warrior 1. Let's hold this warrior 1. So standing lunge, right? Shoulders parallel with the top side of your mat, as opposed to twisting, arms up if you can do it. Maybe reach a little bit more on your inhales. Maybe drop into your lunge a little bit more on your exhale. One more inhale here. Exhale, plank. Shift forward, lower down. Inhale, cobra. Exhale, downward facing dog. Inhale, left leg up. Exhale, swing it forward. However that looks like for you. Drop the back foot. Inhale, warrior 1. Couple breaths here. So check in. Is your front foot pointing forward? Is your back foot angled a little bit? You could be on your back foot. Are you using a chair? Are you using blocks? Inhale, reach for the sky. Exhale, hands down, plank. Shift forward, lower. Inhale, cobra. Exhale, downward facing dog. Couple breaths as you can be. And then feet to hands or hands to feet. Half forward fold. Exhale, forward fold. Inhale, chair. Exhale, mountain. Maybe starting to warm up a little bit. Let's move on. Perfect. And do the warrior dance a couple times. So it's kind of a blend of a sun salutation and our favorite standing poses. So on your next inhale, arms up. Exhale, fold forward. Inhale, half forward fold. Exhale, plank, shift forward, lower down. Inhale, cobra. Exhale, downward facing dog. Inhale, right leg up. Exhale, swing it forward. Drop the back foot. Inhale, warrior 1. Hold this one again. First time through our warrior dance, we'll hold and check in with our alignment, our position. Can you see your toes? Is your knees stacked over your ankles? Release some of your toes. Release the big toe. One more inhale here. Exhale, warrior 2. So warrior 2, we've opened our torso to the long side of our mat, arms in a T, almost so that your hands are over your feet. Tall spine, trying not to lean morning forward or lean back. Maybe inhale taller, exhale, drop a teeny bit more. Maybe you need to wiggle out a little bit. Warrior 2. One more breath here, and then On our next inhale, glide your hand down your leg for reverse warrior. Still in the lunge. We're going to hold this for a couple breaths. It's a side bend, not a back bend. And then if you want to, add arm either straight up or over your ear with that. Inhale, torso to vertical. Exhale, come on down to your front thigh. Arm overhead or arm extended for a couple breaths here. Extended side angle. Or do a different variation. You can wrap, you can be on blocks. One more breath here. Then on your next inhale, let's reverse for one breath. And then exhale, plank. Shift forward, lower down. Inhale, cobra. Exhale, downward facing dog. Inhale, left leg up. Exhale, swing it forward or do what needs to happen. Drop the back foot. Inhale, warrior one. Breathe here. Check in. Really energetically pull your legs together to have a strong foundation, which allows you to really reach for the sky. And I'm going to switch my position so that I'm not facing my back to you. One more inhale here. Exhale. Warrior two. Hands approximately over your feet. Left hand over left foot. Right hand over right foot. The inhale, maybe a little taller, a little stronger in the arm. Maybe try lifting, having your external rotation there. It's kind of fun. Exhale, drop into your lunge maybe a teeny bit more, or energetically pull your legs together. Super strong foundation. One more full breath here, and then on your inhale, slide your back hand, right hand down your right leg. Add an arm if you feel like it. Maybe extend it if you feel like it. Couple breaths here. It's really not putting much weight on this hand at all. It's just the support. You don't want to push your knee in the wrong direction. One more inhale here. Come on up to a T, and then exhale over the other way, whatever arm variation. Maybe even try back, bending back to open yourself up a little bit more. And coming in. Hold on. Really quick. Go. Really reach all the way through your fingertips, all the way down your side body, out your heel. And then on your next inhale, reverse warrior just for one breath. And then exhale, plank, shift forward, lower. Inhale, cobra. Exhale, downward facing dog. Couple breaths here. And then bring your feet and hands together. Inhale, half forward fold. Exhale, forward fold. Inhale, chair. Exhale, mountain. Okay. Whole sequence, one breath, one movement. Actually, you probably did need to do the chair at the end, but whatever, it's fun. Check in, catch your breath a little bit. Your next inhale, arms up. Exhale, fold forward. Inhale, half forward fold. Exhale, plank, shift forward, slow down. Inhale, cobra. Exhale, downward facing dog. Inhale, right leg to the sky. Exhale, swing it forward. Drop the back foot. Inhale, rise. Exhale, warrior two. Inhale, reverse. Exhale, extend. Inhale, reverse. Exhale, plank. To forward, lower. Inhale, cobra. Exhale, downward facing dog. Inhale, flex leg up. Exhale, swing it forward, whatever that looks like. Inhale, rise. Exhale, warrior two. Inhale, reverse. Exhale, extend. Inhale, reverse. Exhale, plank. To forward, lower down. Inhale, cobra. Exhale, downward facing dog. Couple breaths of recovery. Check the time. Actually, go ahead and come on down into puppy or child's pose. Whatever variation makes sense for you. And then just notice. Notice the quality of your breath. Maybe you can feel your heart rate. Maybe you feel your temperature. Hopefully a little elevated. Notice how your breathing and your heart rate slows down. Okay. And on the next inhale, come on out and let's sit in staff pose. So it's basically mountain pose with a fold, active legs. So toes pointed up towards the ceiling, maybe flexing your feet, maybe pressing down your heels, calves, thighs, maybe moving the flesh out of the way if you have a tendency to sit like this. And maybe even if your hamstrings are tight, maybe you have your hands back a little bit, whatever position makes sense for you, but try to get this tall spine. If you can put your hands next to your hip. And if this isn't doing anything for you, maybe on blocks or books, something like that, give you a little bit of traction. So tall spine, everything stacked, try not to have your shoulders next to your ears. Puppet string still pulling you tall. Maybe you can really press down on your legs. Then try bringing your arms overhead. Big reach on an inhale, and exhale, reach forward as far as you feel good doing. If you want to strap, grab it. If you want to just grab on your pants. If you can grab your toes, grab them. If you can grab your wrists, grab them. The idea is belly towards your thigh as opposed to nose to toes. So every inhale, maybe a little longer with your spine. Every exhale, maybe a teeny bit closer your belly to your thigh. One more breath here, and then on your next inhale, Go ahead and come out and bring your feet into butterfly. Again, let's try to be tall. Grab onto whatever helps. Sometimes using your knees or your shins can help you have that tall spine. And then if you want to lean forward, go ahead. If you want to give yourself a foot massage, go ahead. If you want to have blocks underneath your knees. Yeah. Notice how far forward you can go. Might have shifted from the first forward fold that we did while sitting. And on your next inhale, come on out and keep one leg in half butterfly and the other leg in staff pose. Again, move flush if you want to, or do that little scoot forward to try to help you get onto your sit bone. And then inhale, arms up. Exhale, reach for your extended foot toe. If you want to strap, grab it. And notice how this isolates the calf and hamstring of your extended leg in a way that, at least for my body, is totally different from what it is for a forward fold. Forward fold seems so much back for me, and this is more, definitely hamstringy for me. On your next inhale, bring your torso to vertical and switch sides. And then do the shifting and manipulating that makes sense for your body. And then inhale tall and exhale, reach for whatever you've got. Having this extended foot flex allows you to reach, sometimes to have more length. Every inhale a little taller, every exhale a little bit closer. And the next inhale, come on up and let's go ahead and lie on your back for bridge pose. So we're going to do a couple of these. So bridge, your knees are bent, feet are on the ground. Let's first bring your arms. I would recommend robot arms for our first one. So that's basically your fists are pointing towards the sky. And then on your next inhale, push into your upper arms and lift your hips towards the sky. We'll do a couple, stay here for a couple breaths. And an interesting thing to do is to notice what happens if you relax your glutes and then flex them again. Like, can you do a glute independently of each other? Can you do both? What happens to the pose if you release your glutes? Can you still lift? And notice how you can isolate these different muscles. One more inhale and go ahead and drop. Shimmy your hips if you feel like it. Release that a little bit. For the next one, we're going to try to get up on our shoulders a little bit. So right now, it's they're just basically next to me, and I want to try to roll them to external rotation position. So sometimes that means just dropping your forearms to either side and then trying to wriggle your elbows together almost. So if you, and that'll help you get more on top of your shoulders and this like dramatic external rotation. Sometimes people grab their hands underneath their torso, try to get on top of their shoulders and this is you need to be able to get on top of your shoulders for shoulder stand. But then make sure your knees aren't flopping out to the left and the right, and keep breathing. You want to try to keep your knees above your ankles, or at least parallel to your ankles, and not flopped out. And again, just because it puts pressure on your knees. One more lift, drop, and for a third one, pick whatever variation you want to do. You could do supported bridge, you could do full wheel. Yesterday in live class, I had two girls that stood up and dropped back into a wheel, a back bend. Not something that I'm capable of doing, but if that's just something you can do, especially if you have a wheel near you, a wall near you, you can walk down your wall, pop up to something, right? Some kind of bridge. And then one more breath here. Go ahead and come on down. If you haven't already, shimmy your hips if that feels good for you. And then we're going to do threads and needle, which is that butt stretch. So I'm going to bring my right ankle over my left thigh and then my left knee towards my nose. The one thing you want to do is try to flex this top foot, particularly if you have a vulnerable knee. That's the way to protect your knee, is by engaging the muscles that surround your knee, so you aren't relying on the bone. Grab your thigh, grab your shin, grab a strap, put your foot on a wall, whatever makes sense for you. And then try to rock back and forth to the left and to the right to see how that shifts, which part of your hip, glute is stretched. And if you find a spot that needs a little attention or could use a little attention, then linger there and then maybe move along. Notice how as we sit here, maybe your knee is coming a little bit closer towards your nose. Maybe not. And from here, we're going to do a twist. And so my right foot is pointed towards you. I'm going to take my whole body and flop it over to the side. And then open my right shoulder down to the mat for a twist. If this isn't doing anything for you, you can extend your bottom leg, and that might make a difference for you. If you're not feeling, if you'd like to have more sensation, then that would be one way to do that. Trying to stack your hips. It could be different as well. Do the twist that makes sense for you. One more breath here, and then bring your knees back up to vertical, and then let's switch sides. So my left ankle is crossed over my right thigh, flexing my left foot, bringing my right knee in, a little air underneath my right foot, maybe grabbing my right thigh, maybe grabbing my right shin, maybe grabbing both sides of the strap. And once I found a good range, rocking left and right. And if I find a spot, well, maybe just lingering. And then when you're ready, swap your whole body over to the right. And then opening your left shoulder back to towards the ground behind you. Stacking your hips if you're not feeling sensation, or extending the bottom leg. One more breath here. And then on your next inhale, bring your knees back up to vertical. Maybe shimmy your hips again. Grab the tops of your knees for a little bit of self massage. And then just because it's fun and it's a really good massage for your back, let's rock and roll up and down your spine at least 3 times because it's fun and it's good massage. Maybe you got a crack coming. And then find your favorite Shavasana position. I'm going to remain seated. Notice the sounds again. Near and far. Notice any taste, bitterness, saltiness, sweetness, sour. Notice if your mouth is dry or there's moisture. Notice the temperature, cool spots on your body, hot spots. Notice the temperature in the room that you're in. Notice if there's any sweat or moisture. Notice any smells. If your eyes are shut, notice the kaleidoscope patterns on the inside of your eyelids. The touch, notice all the points of contact between your body and whatever you're lying or sitting on. Notice where you've chosen to place your hand. Go ahead and start to lengthen your breathing again. Maybe start wiggling anything that needs wiggling. Maybe stretch anything that still needs stretching. And gently and kindly bring yourself back up to sitting. And may the inner light in you reflect the inner light in me, coming to you from Kali Academy. Namaste, everybody.